Hello Wrexham fans. How are you? I hope you're well. And look, billionaire new owner of Wrexham? 4 bombshells today. Stay until the end and I'll tell you everything and more. But first, subscribe to the channel and leave a like to receive all the latest news from the Red Dragons. Before I tell you the big news, here's the latest and greatest news from Wrexham FC. Friends, let's start with the news that really shook up the fans. Paul Mullin, one of Wrexham's greatest idols, ended up losing his place under Phil Parkinson's management in early 2025. The result? He was loaned to Wigan Athletic for a full season. And get this, even away from home, Mullin has already equaled the number of goals he scored in League One with Wrexham, scoring 3 times for Wigan. This number is expected to grow, as he's expected to take on an even more important role following the team's elimination from the English League Cup. Now, an interesting detail. Despite not playing in the Carabao Cup this season, Mullin could end up being a key player, even from afar. That's because Wrexham will face Cardiff City in the 4th round. And who better than him to give Parkinson some valuable tips about their Welsh rivals? And it doesn't stop there. Cardiff, who were relegated from the Championship, are fighting hard in League One and have already shown strength at the start of the season. In fact, on September 27th, they'll face Mullin's Wigan. You can imagine, right? If Mullin starts, he could very well end up passing on information from the field to help Wrexham exploit the Bluebirds' weaknesses. But the story isn't just about football. There's also a personal side. Mullin revealed in the documentary Welcome to Wrexham that his relationship with Phil Parkinson was strained. After January 2025, he not only lost his starting spot, but he was also dropped from the squad. Regarding this, he said, "I don't know, it's been difficult. I don't know what made him trust me less, but it's clear he wants what's best for the team." In other words, a relationship marked by shaky trust, but one that could still yield important chapters this season. And now, fans, let's talk about Wrexham's next stop in the Carabao Cup. After beating Reading on Tuesday, the Dragons will face none other than Cardiff City in the 4th round. It's true, the competition's prize money isn't much, but the chance to face a Welsh rival, with the possibility of reaching the quarterfinals and even facing a Premier League giant, is reason enough to get the fans excited, isn't it? It's worth remembering that during the last transfer window, Wrexham was linked with several Cardiff players, including striker Callum Robinson. Ultimately, the deal fell through. But the Dragons weren't left behind. They bolstered their attack with big names like Ryan Hardy, Nathan Broadhead, Josh Windass, and former Bluebird Kiefer Moore. And speaking of Moore, his history with Cardiff is special. The centre-forward, who arrived at Wrexham from Sheffield United for £2 million, previously played for Cardiff City between 2020 and 2022. He played 66 games, scored 25 goals, and provided 6 assists. Such a good run of form that it even led to a sale to Bournemouth for around £5 million. Moore himself has commented on his time at Cardiff, saying he had a great time there and scored many goals. In fact, in December 2024, he scored against his former club and joked, "It's never good for the home fans when I come back and still score goals, but I loved my time here." But what really surprised everyone was his quick adaptation to Wrexham. When the transfer was confirmed, Sheffield United fans were critical, even recalling a mistake in the playoff final against Sunderland. But on the field, Moore has silenced the critics. He's already scored 5 goals and had 1 assist in just 7 games, and Phil Parkinson has even built the team around him. In other words, this isn't just a reunion with Cardiff. It's also a chance for Moore to prove, once again, that he's here to be a key player for the Dragons. Wrexham fans, pay attention. The club will be playing in the 4th round of the Carabao Cup for the first time in 48 years, and their opponent couldn't be more special. Fellow Welsh side Cardiff City. And what made it all even more historic was Nathan Broadhead's performance in the 2-0 victory over Reading. With this result, for the first time in history, 3 Welsh clubs reached the 4th round of the EFL Cup. But the story doesn't stop on the field. Wrexham decided to use this moment to make a difference off it. The shirts of the 11 players who started the match against the Royals will be auctioned for the Wrexham Miners Project, helping to preserve local mining heritage and inspire new generations. It's worth remembering that the club paid tribute to the Gresford mining disaster before the match, remembering the 266 men and boys who lost their lives on September 22, 1934. An event that deeply affected the entire region. The shirts up for auction include those of Nathan Broadhead, James McLean, Elliot Lee, Matty James, Callum Doyle, Sam Smith, Ryan Barnett, Lewis Brunt, Dan Scarr, George Thomason, and Callum Burton. The auction is being held by matchwornshirt.com and runs until Tuesday, September 30th. This is just another example of Wrexham's deep community involvement. The club also fields Wales' first wheelchair football team, which has met every Friday at the University of Wrexham Sports Centre since 2021. Additionally, the Fit Dragons program at Stock CAE RAS offers a free 12-week health and wellness plan for men and women aged 35 to 65 who want to improve their fitness, lose weight, and create healthier habits. In other words, it's not just football. Wrexham shows that it truly cares about the community, and initiatives like the shirt auction help transform people's lives locally. Wrexham fans, do you remember how it all began in 2021? When Reynolds and Rob McElhenney took over the club, no one could have imagined the magnitude of the transformation that lay ahead. And since then, the Red Dragons have turned things around and become one of the most talked about clubs not only in Wales, but worldwide. And their achievements speak for themselves. Just this week, Wrexham achieved something historic. They secured a place in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup for the first time in over 40 years. That's right, 4 decades have passed since the team last made it this far in this competition. And it doesn't stop there. Under Reynolds and McElhenney's management, the club has achieved no less than 3 consecutive promotions from the EFL, something that seemed impossible until recently. Now, one thing is certain, Ryan and Rob aren't here just to play. They show no sign of losing interest in the project. Quite the opposite. Their vision is clear: to expand Wrexham, transform the club into an even bigger brand, and continue competing at a high level. But here comes the part that caught everyone by surprise. Over the summer, rumors began circulating that the two were considering selling a stake in Wrexham. At the time, the club was valued at an impressive £350 million. That's right, £350 million. A figure that demonstrates how much Wrexham has grown since the Americans took over. And of course, with such a valuation, investors from around the world began to look closely at the club. Financial expert Adam Williams even stated that a potential investment by Saudi billionaire Turkey Al-Sheikh in Wrexham would be the biggest deal Saudi Arabia has ever made in football. For those unfamiliar, Al-Sheikh previously owned UD Almeria and wields considerable influence behind the scenes in world football. In recent days, reports have even surfaced that he is eyeing Bristol City, a club currently competing at the top of the championship. But the billionaire himself took to social media to deny the rumors. He wrote on Twitter, "It's not true that I'm buying Bristol City FC." Meanwhile, Wrexham has yet to confirm any new investments since the Allen family's arrival in 2024. But it's important to highlight one thing. The mere fact that major investors are attached to the club's name already demonstrates the scale of the transformation Ryan and Rob have achieved in such a short time. Today, Wrexham isn't just a football team, it's a global brand, followed by millions of people, with fans spread across every corner of the planet. And with this growth, new opportunities will continue to arise. So, fans, would you like to see a new investor join forces with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, or would you prefer them to remain in sole control of the club? Leave your opinion in the comments, because this story still promises many twists and turns. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, you are very special, very important, the world needs you.